What is going on, everybody? It is your boy, your man's Toxic Gamer 331, back at it with another video. And today I'm going to be ranking all 5 Karate Kid movies from the worst to the best. Before I get into the actual list, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, share the video, ring the bell for all notifications, and also feel free to comment. But anyways, let's get on to the video. I got no list today because it is a short franchise, not like the MCU or the other ones. But, without a shadow of a doubt, coming in last place is the next Karate Kid. Let's start off with the good in this film. Mr. Miyagi still has the same charm from the first film. The comedy's pretty hilarious. I think Miyagi's pretty much more funnier than in the other films. And, yeah, that's the good. The flaws, I think that the main protagonist is not very likable in the first half. She does not have the same charm as Daniel. But she later becomes a better character, but just not as good as Daniel. I thought that the villain was a little bit too, what's the word? He's not even a sensei, like, teacher or anything. He's just a coach at a school that, like, bullies his the people he teaches PE with. And, yeah, another, flaw for me, too, was, like, how Mr. Miyagi kind of taught Julie the karate. It was kind of not as cool as the first few, but, yeah, that's why it is coming in last place. Fourth place, this might be a shock to some people. I'm actually putting in the Karate Kid Part 2. Now, why I put Karate Kid Part 2 in here last is because I liked probably the other YouTubers that you know probably put Karate Kid Part 3 in here. Why it's above Karate Kid Part 3 is because I thought that it was kind of boring. It was not, the plot line was kind of not really the right plot line to go for the Karate Kid Part 2. Well, the beginning's great, don't get me wrong. This is not the worst Karate Kid movie. Like, the beginning where it's after the tournament in Mr. Miyagi beats up the coach of Cobra Kai. Yeah, that's good. But the problem for me was the story they decided to take where Mr. Miyagi's father is about to die and him and Danny travel to Japan to say goodbye to him, basically. And what ends up happening is the main bad guy in the film is Mr. Miyagi's brother, who, is just mad at him because he left and stuff. It's really stupid. But anyways, you later find out in the movie that Mr. Miyagi's brother is not the actual bad guy. It's like the nephew. The nephew of Mr. Miyagi. He bullies Danny quite a lot, to say the least, and is quite does good at being a bad guy. But I did think that also another flaw is the main lead female protagonist, aka Danny's girlfriend in this film, does not have the same charm as the first girl and the third girl. So yeah, that's why it comes in fourth place. Third place, ironically, is the Karate Kid Part 3. I liked this one a little bit more because it stays in California, and it follows this guy, Mr. Miyagi, getting a plant store, and what ends up happening is, like, there's this guy that just wants to ruin him, basically, and gives him taxes and all that, and trying to rip all the plants out. And what ends up happening later in the film, I thought that the bad guy was great. It's the teacher of, what's his name? The main coach from the first one, where he, decides to kinda, he asks Danny if he wanted to be taught by him, and he ends up, it was part of his plan to get him tortured and stuff like that, and facing his inner anger. And what ends up happening later, he was suckering him up to face his best student in a karate match for his championship. And also, just as a point of reference, I would have wore the, whatever it's called, the ribbon that they wore around their head, but I couldn't find it. I used to have one, but yeah, anyways, coming in second place is the Karate Kid 2010 remake. Why I actually, grew up with this one instead of the original. I watched this one way more. It's a remake with Jaden Smith as this kid named Dre. And they have, instead of Mr. Miyagi, they have Mr. Han, which I thought Jackie Chan did a good job as Mr. Han. He's hilarious. He's sarcastic at the same time. He's bad, that to say the least. He's very, very good fighter. And yeah, why I put it second place is because they copied a lot. I was watching the first Karate Kid, and they copied, I mean, a lot from the first film. Just to counter, so just to point out the comparisons. The first one, like, and the Karate Kid tournament actually has a lot of the same dialogue in the other Karate Kid one, where the teacher says to break Dre's leg is directly from the first one, but they just speak in Chinese instead, which, yeah, and then they also, Dre does good, Jaden Smith does a good job for his first solo outing in a movie. I believe this was his first. And, yeah, I still like the film. So there's that. But without a shadow of a doubt, number one coming in first place is the original Karate Kid. Excuse me, I just burped. It is, a classic 80s movie, and all that. The music's great. They bring classic 80s music, and follows the journey of Daniel, who has just left an apartment left Detroit to come to California to move there, and he ends up finding some karate police and they keep on beating him up and all that. So Mr. Miyagi comes to his aid and teaches him some karate so he can fight back and fight in the tournament. So, yeah, that's good. And I forgot to mention another flaw to the next Karate Kid. Another flaw is that I do not like how Julie treats her grandmother. She teaches her, treats her very badly, to say the least, very mean and all that, after her parents have died, so you have a little bit of misunderstanding, to say the least. So, yeah. That was my list, people. Let me know your list down below if you would like to. I hope y'all enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, share the video, ring the bell for all notifications, and also feel free to comment. But anyways, I will be posting another video soon, and be on the lookout for that. But anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one, everybody. Oh, wait, one more thing. Yeah!